But if the developer, we're aware, does have options on these properties that are marked in green, but we do not want to get ourselves tangled up with a developer. We have state money. This will be city-controlled land use development corp. We intend to approach each one of these property owners and see if we can negotiate a direct purchase from them. Or at their election, if they want to consent to an assignment of whatever they have with that SFC group. But I do not want to get involved in the SFC's business. They've got options, and they're expensive to hold those options.
Well, essentially, we're proposing here this entity, not entity, with full public disclosure, would be able to receive $24 million in state funding. How it's executed, these are not the properties you want to proceed on. If we wouldn't, but unequivocally, absolutely, this entity has no power to condemn. So you would not be condemning any properties.
I'm a little puzzled though. If let's say item number 5, I don't even know what that one is, but assuming for argument's sake, SFC has an option. So if you can negotiate with the owner of that for a price that's better than the SFC option, then that's good. If you negotiate for a price that's worse than the SFC option, wouldn't it be better for us to somehow buy the SFC option and then exercise that?
If it's assignable.
If it's assignable, okay. Now, SFC, again, have been holding these options. They've been paying money on it. And then if we go ahead and buy it, what happens to their options?
The property, if it's a direct transfer, would have to be free and clear of that. And so at some point, if they do have a pending option with SFC, that would have to be terminated or assigned to us, either one.
So does that mean either this organization or the property owner is going to have to buy out SFC?
It depends on what the terms of their options are. They're all a little different. But I would intend, and again, this is more, now we're getting more into a style thing. I would expect that the board would want us to go and talk to the owner directly first, see where they are, or we could go and talk to the option holder first. But I thought the preference would be to go talk to each one of the property owners, see if we can negotiate a direct purchase. And if they say at that point, oh, I've got an option with Capelli or SFC, deal with me through them, then we would come back to you and say we're being asked to take by assignment the option. But no expenditure funds will occur, just negotiations at this point. It'll all be subject to coming back to the board. And I suspect it won't be as simple as we use the same answer on every single one. Some will tell us go deal with SFC, some will say that thing's terminating or whatever their circumstances are, I'll contract directly with.
How you going to be doing the negotiation?
We've got to talk about that. I think the officers of the corporation were with assistants from counsel, Dennis and myself.
I mean, they don't get paid on closing. Do you guys get paid at closing, or do you guys get paid just an annual fee? We haven't talked about how you guys get paid.
We at this stage have risk because you haven't drawn any grant money down, and we're working for an entity without resources. But we don't anticipate getting paid as we close or render periodic bills to the board that can be approved and signed off, however you want to do it. It's fine.
But is it on hourly or is it on a percentage of the?
No, it's hourly. No, I don't want to do it. I mean, unless you ask me to, but I don't like the way that comes out. It can be too high or we're taking it on.
Okay, where are we?
So I think there was a motion to vote on item number 5.
Section 5.
Section 5, which is the application.
Application which is not identifying the properties to be condemned, and again, the board has absolutely no power.
Okay, so there was a motion on the floor to that effect. Who made that again, Jim? Jim and Chuck. All right, so let's take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so 4-1.
All right, now we're on to section 19 and 20, which really go together. 19 is telling the officers to go ahead and pursue the state grant application in the form attached. It's a little duplicate of the ratification we just had concerns about. And then section 20 is really the meat of it, the seeker review. In anticipation of last June's meeting, we put out a 30-day notice to all involved agencies. There's only 2 of them, this entity and the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York. Yes?
We're now at section 20, so
Yep.
gonna ask either you or Rocky if we had any communication from Kevin Ryan on the revised language for that.
I'll check, they were working on it in corp councils, they were giving him an opportunity to. Rocky, I think, Mark and, yeah, Mark and Frank are working on it in corp council's office, well, I think they should be in here. Let's talk about this, maybe, if we could, we'll talk about a little bit basics, and if they're not in here in a minute, we can quickly find out where they are. Here, Desmond. Let me pass out to the board at this point. This is the nub of the argument that, this is a letter, the only two involved agencies after June, or when we, here
How many pages?
I broke them out. There's 3 of these. Does everybody have them? I have. Here. You'll see this letter, last June when we anticipated proceeding and then we basically adjourned the meeting, we put out a 30-day letter under seeker to establish a lead agency. It's either us or DASNY. DASNY was fine with this entity taking the look under seeker. And what's important is to distinguish a buy and hold strategy. If we had more than the 24 million, more money than was necessary to buy the land, we could have the discussions you just brought up, Chuck, which is, what, you know, are we going to start putting the sidewalks in? Are we going to start doing some form of daylighting? Well, everybody's got a different little interpretation of what that is. The SFC project is proposing something, but that is a separate, distinct seeker action being handled by the City Council and stay completely out of their knitting as a council action. This is a buy and hold strategy that utilizes state money. In fairness, if the, I don't even like to say it out loud, but if the developer weren't proceeding, if the developer walked in here today and said, I'm not proceeding, would this board still spend $24 million to buy the state land? I think we should, yes. I would, because the money's available to us to finally secure this land we've been talking about since the 70s. So with that, we went to DASNY, sat with them on several calls, and then developed this letter to explain to them the theory of what's called permissive segmentation. And kind of a little overabundance of caution, Chuck had shown Kevin Ryan, who's engaged by City Council to deal with the other seeker action, the whole SFC project. We asked Kevin to go ahead and beef up our finding or declaration any way you felt comfortable to even distinguish it more than what we talk about in this letter and that was done at the base cut of these resolutions. That's what we were waiting for out of Corp Counsel's office, and if it's not here, if we can take maybe a 5-minute adjournment, I'll get that, I'll give you a chance to look at this letter, and then I'll be right back here. Questions?
Care to leave the room?